Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us the truth. And salutations to sincere Akim and Aquath that may listen. My name is Brother Akwai, back in here with another video. And today's lesson is the spirit of Yahawashi is astonishing. And what inspired me to do this lesson was a conversation I had with few people that I interact with, whether it be at work or with people with other Israelites in the world. And I noticed every time that when I speak to these people, and they have questions, they're always left in amazement. They're always left kind of stunned. They're kind of like dumbfounded, they don't really have, they're kind of like lost for words, so to speak. And it's something it's a very interesting phenomenon when you really think about it, because the Most High set it up in a way that you might be the kind of Israelite that looks in a particular way, but then when you start to speak, then it leaves people speechless. Like, you leave people, they might think a certain way about you, right? They might think that, like for me, like for myself, for example, I might, I look like a so-called Negro, and I look like a typical stereotype, and then when you start to speak, then people would realize that, oh my goodness, this person knows and possesses a plethora of knowledge, right? It's like a river of living waters, right? Like it says in John 7 and 38. And it's just very interesting that phenomenon that occurs, because the Most High just set it up in a way that, the things that are more lowly are things that He makes very, very mighty, right? And that is that's just the way the Most High set it up. Starting with the apostles and elders, we're in a very lowly state when it comes to the world. A lot of us don't have like a lot of money, or we don't have a lot of like riches or anything like that. We just look like regular people out on the streets, when we're on on the highways, right? And when we're teaching, and we just look like regular people. And it's just interesting that people are perplexed. Like when they approach, different camps, people are like dumbfounded, right? They're lost for words. They don't know. They realize that, oh my goodness, these men actually truly know something and actually possess a lot of knowledge, right? So, anyways, I'm just gonna bring out a couple scriptures, and Yahweh Ratazah, this would be an edifying lesson. So we're just gonna go to an account in actually, hang on, let me just see if I could search this up in the etymology. So I'm just gonna use my other phone to do this, and then I'll read out the definitions, so your brothers and few sisters can know. Etymology. So astonishing, let's see, causing wonder or amazement. Let's see if we can get some more on that. Astonish. Okay. So astonish of 1300, to stun, strike senseless, to stun, daze, deafen, astound, out, to thunder. That's interesting. To leave someone thunderstruck, right? So Yahawashi came with that spirit when his and we'll get to that in a sec. is attested from the 1520s, the meaning amaze, shock with wonder. And it's very interesting. It's described as thunderstruck. If you think about thunder, it's very loud. It's very, it's very, it makes its presence known. Like you when you see the lightning strike and the thunder comes, it's very it's very bold, right? When you hear thunder roar in the clouds, right? So let's get an account of this in Luke. No, this is so this is Luke. Let's start at 45. So this is Luke 2 and 45. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. And it came to pass, 46, and it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting amidst the doctors, both hearing them and answering them questions. This is verse 47. So, and all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And 48. So, and when they saw him, they were amazed, and his mother said unto him, Why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I sought thee sorrowing, right? So Mary and Joseph were out looking for him, and he was in the temple and he was teaching. And in the midst of him teaching, he was surrounded by all these like different delegates, and it says here doctors and people that actually have a domain of expertise, and he was all surrounded by them. So this is Yahawashi, he was around all these different people, and this is the spirit that he came in, and he was able to astonish and be able to answer all their questions, right? And that is the spirit that trickles down onto us, starting with the apostles and the elders on down, right? They come with that astonishment, even though they don't look like such, right? We look very lowly. We don't look like anybody of high regard, of high importance. We're not dressed in a particular fashion. We're dressed very we look on our outside appearance. It looks very normal, like we just look like the general public, right? But then when you, like, for example, when people come up to us or like on the streets, or they they hear us speaking when they make videos, people are like, they're dumbfounded, because it really exposes what people know, and people don't really know that much, to be honest, right? When it comes to the truth in the scriptures of the Bible, right? And especially when it comes to like different on a plethora of topics, like whether it's be history or health, and that is something, like, for me personally, that's something that I've noticed, being around people in the world. And one thing that that I've noticed is that they always look at me to be able to have some kind of answer for some of the questions that they're experiencing, that they have, right? Because of the same spirit of Yahawashi, imparting us this knowledge, right? It's gonna make people astonished when they speak to you, right? Because you might look a certain way. You don't look like somebody of high regard. And then when you start to speak, then they realize, oh my goodness, their world is kind of like turned upside down. It can either cut them in the spirit, or it can actually uplift them, right? Depending on the spirit that you're dealing with, right? This is verse 49. And he said unto them, How is that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be my father's business? Right. So, he was doing what his father had, commanded him, is to, to be to go out there and teach, right? So let's get, hang on. Let's get another script. And because of that knowledge, it's you would realize that the behavior of people would start to change, right? Because they begin to sought out your counsel. So this is, where is it? So this is Sorak, or Ecclesiasticus 19 and 29, and it reads this: A man may be known by his look, one that hath understanding by his countenance, right? So his stature. When thou meetest him, verse 30, a man's attire and excessive laughter and gait show what he is, right? So a man, his demeanor, once you become a lot more wise and you realize that, you become very desensitized to a lot of nonsense that's in the world, right? You become very strict and austere. It's sort of just like Yahawashi. Let me look up that word gate real quick. I wonder what that means. Okay, so this is gate in the etymology. A going or walking, departure, way, road, path. Let's see. Street, to release. Meaning, manner of walking, carriage of the body while walking. Okay, so in a nutshell, it's the way that you carry yourself, right? Let's see if there's a bit more. So it's your vibe and your the way that that people will see you, right? So having more of this knowledge, you realize that you tend to tolerate certain things and tolerate less things, especially when it comes to things of the world and all that kind of stuff, because you realize you have the truth when it comes to the scriptures and it comes to your different domains of expertise, and you realize it's all lies, that we're just swimming in a pool of a bunch of lies, right? Let's see. So going back to my point when I said earlier that the Most High takes the things that are lowly of stature and he puts them to be able to confound and dumbfound other people. I just have one more script for that to back up that point. Okay, so this is 1 Corinthians. We'll start at 26. 1 Corinthians 1 and 26, and it reads this: For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, but not many mighty, not many noble are called. Right? So people who have this particular outward appearance or stature. But the Most High have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And the Most High Yahweh has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things of the mighty, right? So the Most High has designed it in a particular way where the people, starting with the apostles and the elders on down, they have taken them and they've used them to be able to confound what the wise people of the world, because starting with them, they have a plethora, and their elders as well have a plethora of knowledge when it comes to the history and the holy scriptures, and and that spirit has been imparted down onto us, right? And they're not men are well known in this world. A lot of the celebrities are more well known, like, you know, your Cardi B's and your Will Smith and all these different Israelite celebrities. They are more well known for their craft. But when it comes to prophecy, when it comes to wisdom, you know, they're sorely lacking, and it shows that. Right? Verse 28, and base things of the world, because, you know, we're on a lower level, you know, like it says in Deuteronomy 28, you know, thou shalt be, whichever verse that is, thou shalt be the head and we be the tail. And the base things of the world and things which are despised, you know, and because, you know, we speak the truth, you know, people hate us, hath the Most High chosen, and things which are not, to bring the things which, to bring to naught things that are, right? So that's how the Most High has designed it, right? Because, you know, we're just not people of high regard in this society. We're just seen as nobodies until that point where they should be able to actually interact with one of us, you know, us men of the Lord, the apostles, and they actually understand, and they're astonished for themselves, right? Because the wealth of knowledge that they know, you know, starting with the apostles and, you know, different men of the Lord, they're able to challenge what, you know, has been taught to us, especially in these institutions of higher learning, you know, right? That don't teach the Holy Scriptures. They don't teach, you know, the laws or the commandments or anything like that, right? So hopefully this was an edifying lesson. And I'd just like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. Until next time, I say, Shalom.